Dear supporters of Dr. Rайнера Фюльмиха, dear friends, dear companions. Rayner thanks you very much for being here in such large numbers today and for supporting him so actively all this time, now for over a year. He continues to receive, as the correctional facility has mentioned again, over 100 letters daily, which he is very happy about, and he really tries to respond to all of them. It sometimes just takes a little longer. He actually has handwriting that's not very easy to read. Most of the time everything has to be revised and rewritten. You can tell because some of you also receive responses via email. He himself has no internet connection, no laptop, and no way to send an email from the correctional facility. That's done by a staff member from the IKK team. I also forward some of them, or he records voice messages, as far as that's possible, and those are then shared as voice messages, etc. That's why he sometimes gives speeches, so that everyone can hear new updates from him. Rayner knows that you are demonstrating for him here in Geneva today. He also recorded a voice message which I have sent to Sonia, and I hope you can play it back technically. We are currently in the court proceedings in the closing arguments. Right now, at this moment, during the closing arguments, I'm occupied and thoroughly reading a lot, going through many documents from the case file. We want to read out all the evidence requests that we have submitted to the court in the past months, which, due to the strict order of the purely written procedure, meaning the exclusion of oral hearings and also the exclusion of the public in the court proceedings since mid-July, we would like to bring to the public. We have started with that. Last week, I read out the criminal complaint, the complainant's statement, and Rayner Fülhmich's response via email. We had some other documents that show he was wrongly accused from the very beginning, that he is being defamed. His supporters are being defamed. They are portrayed by the correctional facility as violent, as lateral thinkers, conspiracy theorists, and even part of the Reichsbürger scene. Unfortunately, he has been denied that. This short video today, on Friday, is about attending the funeral, the memorial service for his mother. Both the correctional facility and the court have confirmed the request from the facility, assuming that there could be violent incidents or rescue actions during the funeral, the memorial service for Rayner Fülhmich's mother. We have pointed out that this is absurd, as these are peace-loving people. We have also submitted photos in this regard. The court knows the trial observers and visitors. The fact that people from all over the world are writing letters to the prison shows that these are peace-loving people, peace-loving supporters, and that there are no acts of violence, no liberation actions, etc. taking place here. They are not planned and never have been. Rayner Fülhmich is not involved in any criminal organizations. He is a lawyer and a doctor of jurisprudence who has taught at the university. During the pandemic, he questioned measures and highlighted people's suffering. It is a doctor, the doctor of jurisprudence, who has always worked as a lawyer, who even taught at the university at times, and who during the corona pandemic simply showed the other side, questioned the pandemic measures, and highlighted the fate of many people who suffered under those measures. As we now know, thanks to the redacted RKI protocols, he was right, as were many others in the movement. And the work of the Corona Committee in Germany has likely been unique to this day, as it has also involved many international scientists and experts. Rayner would like to build on these findings and continue to be active, especially now to take the opportunity internationally to finally sue class action lawsuits in the Anglo-American sphere and successfully implement them. He is currently being denied this, but he has many colleagues all over the world who are ready to go in 2021 and are working on these things, basically preparing everything, or even really getting things started and filing cases in court. Rayner himself is currently still in a situation but his situation has improved a bit. He can sleep peacefully again. The inmate next to him, who often disturbed him at night, was transferred 2 weeks ago. He is now allowed to exercise every day. He can even go jogging, and he can use a prison-owned gym, exercising, of course, alone. He is still isolated from the other inmates. He is prohibited from any contact there, except with the so-called house worker on the unit. He allegedly incited other prisoners through legal advice and conversations. The prison has repeatedly presented it this way. We counted that Rayner is a fully qualified lawyer with the qualifications to hold judicial office. Of course, since he provided legal advice, he did so free of charge, and he only did so to a limited extent. I think that inmates in a correctional facility, especially those who are in pre-trial detention and have not yet been legally convicted, will always talk about the charges against them and their ongoing legal proceedings. So this is normal. It's not an isolated case, and it's nothing special in Rayner Fülhmich's situation. But he is being punished for it and is being isolated. That's how the Ministry of Justice has described it now. It's a separation, not an isolation. Those are just word games. Of course, Rayner is isolated from the other inmates. He is continuing to fight against it. We will continue to fight against it. Legal remedies have been filed. Public institutions have been informed about Rayner's fate. We'll see how it goes from here. The court in Göttingen still has some applications pending for decision. We have also requested that Rayner finally be allowed to see a doctor he trusts, because the medical staff at the Rosdorf Correctional Facility are obviously not free in their decisions. So far, according to Rayner, there hasn't been any real examination. He will continue to be brought to the court hearings shackled at hands and feet. I was allowed to see how the restraints are applied last week. At least the legs, the ankles, where the chains are placed, on the feet, are protected by some black padding material. The handcuffs are secured again with a belly strap, which has a special buckle that looks like a U-shaped Abbas bicycle lock. There, the handcuffs are secured again to a belly strap so that he can't swing his arms or do anything else. So he is really being transported to and from the correctional facility like a serious criminal. The good news is that the correctional officers who are dealing with him, who are accompanying him, are fortunately nice. They are very nice and friendly as people. Yes. Otherwise, we will see how the whole process continues now. As I said, we will continue to bring a lot to the public's attention. We will try to inform the public as best as we can about what has been presented in the criminal proceedings in the past, what has been requested, and about the contents of the files, which also show that the arrest and transfer to Germany from Mexico over a year ago was not entirely proper. There was neither a proper extradition procedure nor a deportation order that would have met any of the necessary requirements. We also know that the country Mexico ultimately had no reason to deport here, and therefore the legal grounds that would exist under Mexican or Spanish law were not met. We will present all of that as well. We will bring this to the public, and we will now use our time during the pleas to inform about it, because, as I said, the court observers in the last weeks and months have only seen breaks for the self-reading procedure, meaning court breaks, during which the panel, the 3 professional judges and the 2 lay judges, acknowledged the evidence requests and then made decisions on them. For the court observers, those were just breaks. The defense and the defendant were excluded from all oral applications, not just those concerning the evidence requests. The proceedings have more or less taken place behind the scenes, and the only sources of information have really been the interviews we've given or the written articles or documents we've released and published. Yes, we hope that we can somehow bring this to a good conclusion, and that at the end of this instance, this first instance before the Göttingen District Court, Rayner will finally be released, possibly even sooner, and that he can finally be free again. He has a strong interest in continuing to fight for his
acquittal or for the dismissal of all criminal charges. He will not evade the proceedings, and from his perspective, it would also be possible for him to end the criminal proceedings here as a free man at any time. The court obviously sees it differently. The prosecution has requested a prison sentence of 3 years and 9 months. The arrest warrant is being demanded. We know many comparable examples in the current justice system where there have been significantly lighter sentences, sometimes even just fines, for charges of the same financial magnitude. We will continue to present this as well. And yes, I wish everyone a nice day today. Successful and enjoyable celebration or demonstration and a good exchange. It's always important to get to know each other at events like this and finally have a personal exchange. And then I'll let Rayner speak in his own words. A big hello to everyone.